Spurg here with RevZilla, and this morning I am riding to work atop an SV650. Now, I want to say good morning to all of you as we head into the office today. But the reason I'm on an SV650 is, if you remember, a few months ago we did the first ride review of the new SV, and there were a lot of comments in that review about the merits of buying used versus new. So today I'm not on a new SV650, rather I'm on a 2006 SV650 that's been passed around our office quite a bit. It was originally Dustin, our editors for the video team, and when he decided to sell it when he was moving up to a street triple, I couldn't get my wallet out fast enough. I wanted this bike, but my cameraman Ryan snagged it up. But originally I think Dustin got this off of Craigslist for around $2,500. So really what I want to talk about today is, again, the merits of new versus used, and I want to use the SV650 as our scope for that. So this bike off of Craigslist for $2,500 is going to be significantly less money than a new bike that you're buying directly from a dealership. There's no denying that fact. But what happens if you simply just don't have $2,500 in cash to put down? Now, it's not impossible to go and buy a used bike and finance it, but it's a lot harder to do that if you're trying to find a bike on Craigslist. You know, you go there, and if you got cash, you walk away with that bike. If you go there and you're like, hey, I really like the bike, but I need to figure my financing out, chances are that guy's not going to hold the bike for you. Now, if you do it at a dealership, that's a different story. But the one advantage you get for buying new versus used is in the financing, right? So I have a decent credit score, and when I bought my last used bike, was my VFR, the best they could do financing-wise was 9% at the dealer that I was at. Now, juxtapose that, when I bought my Tiger 800 last year, I got 2.4% from a credit union. So there is going to be a benefit for both. Yes, if you have the money, going used will save you some cash up front, but if you don't have the money, you know, you can get a more attractive financing offer with something that's going to be a new model. If that gets confusing for you, I'd recommend talking to a family member, maybe a financial advisor, or if you have a dealership that you simply trust, go in and talk to their finance office. They're usually going to try and help you out. So, getting into the SV650 specifically, there were a lot of comments about the styling, right? And the styling is going to be completely subjective on this bike. The old version I'm on right now has got sharp angles. You know, it's just a very angular cut to it. And the new one is definitely more rounded. It's definitely going to carry a little more of that Gladius style into it, despite the fact that it now has that round headlight. Personally, I like the old version a little bit better, but the new one, there's a lot of folks out there that like the style and the lines on the new one as well. Also, the old one, you had the S version. So with the S version, it was already had the clip-ons, the rear sets. It was a little more track-oriented, so if you wanted to develop a track bike out of it, you know, that was a more usable and approachable model for you with less modifications required. The new version doesn't have that. You know, and talking about modifications, when you're getting a used bike, chances are you're going to get some free modifications available with that. You're going to get some free accessories thrown in. Just looking at the SV650 that I'm on right now, I'm seeing heated grips, CRG bar end mirrors, I'm looking at frame sliders down there, and then listen, this already has the aftermarket exhaust on it. So there's like $1,000 worth of mods just that I can see right now. And I guarantee you, when Dustin went and bought this bike, that wasn't factored into the $2,500. So you're automatically going to get a few extra add-ons with this. And in addition to that, just the aftermarket in general. For a bike of this age, there's such a robust aftermarket for it. There are clip-ons, there are rear sets. You can pretty much put a track fairing kit on this. The new version, it's going to take a while for the aftermarket to warm up. So the older version, for those of you out there that like to modify, will probably be a win in that category. Now, the one thing that the old version had some problems with was fueling. The older version, if you go with the first gen, was carbureted. There's some hiccups associated with that. There's some people that love carburetors, hate carburetors. But the truth is, with ethanol in the fuel these days, there's going to be a little more maintenance associated with the carburetors. And then when you look at the fuel injection on the second gen, it was a little bit spotty from a throttle control standpoint. You're going to have to probably put a power command on there. I know this bike has a throttle tamer on it. They had the block-off plates. You definitely had to modify the fueling a bit, especially if you were to put some kind of an aftermarket exhaust onto it. So there's pros and cons on both sides, and it really comes down to what is going to be right for you, your financial situation, and also what you're looking to do with the motorcycle. Now, for me personally, you know, we have to come to some kind of conclusion, because I've really enjoyed reading your comments and debates back and forth I would go with the used bike. You know, I get on this bike and I'm comfortable. There's nothing that it really needs. In fact, I'd probably take some of the modifications off of here. I know Ryan put, you know, bar risers on it. I'd probably rip those off and go back even a little more to stock, or go with clip-ons and turn this into a track bike. If Ryan ever makes a mistake of selling this motorcycle, I will not be too slow with the cash to buy this. The SV650 is a well-rounded, fun little bike, and if you can find one in this condition for $2,500 and you can afford that, you know, that's the way that I would go. If you're looking to finance something and you want a new one, the new one's great too. It's just a horse of a different color, if you will. So keep in mind that this video came about because of the comment section in that original video. So when Lemmy and I are doing these videos, we do read those comments. So I do want to encourage you to subscribe to us to keep up with the videos that we have rolling out, but also make sure you're leaving your comments, your questions, and your feedback in that section so, you know, we can have these debates and we can engage in further conversation with you. Thank you for joining me on my morning commute here through Philadelphia. I'm Spurg. Enjoy the ride. There's Rocky. There's the giant horse. The man on the horse. The art museum. Now we're just taking a tour around Philadelphia.